Welcome back to the kitchen of Darian May, cooking for a healthy lifestyle. So today we are making salt mackerel rundown. And if you know anything about Jamaicans, we eat well every day. And especially when it comes around to the holiday. So now it's Easter. Mackerel rundown can be had for dinner, it can be had for lunch, and it can be had for breakfast. But if you are looking to have a big breakfast on Easter, this is the perfect recipe for you. And you still have time to go out and get your ingredients. So let's talk about the ingredients. So here I have my 2 salt mackerel. I have coconut milk. I have some bell pepper. And the reason for the bell pepper is just to give it a little color. If you like to cook with tomato would be a good choice to give it a little pepper, but I don't really like to cook with tomato. So here I have some bell pepper to give it that little lift. I have a Scotch bonnet pepper. I have some pimento beans. I have some garlic, thyme, scallion, and onions. So our first step is we're going to cook the mackerel, maybe 1 or 2 times. We're going to cook it to get rid of the salt. Now, and the mackerel is already washed and cleaned up with lemon juice, and I made sure I cut off all the extra scales and whatever extras on it. So now we're gonna start by cooking the mackerel to get out some more of that salt, even though I soaked it a little bit. So I've cut my mackerel in half and I'm going to boil them. I have my water already waiting. So we're gonna boil that for about 5 minutes. And when we are done, if we need to boil it a little bit more, we will see. So let's give that a little time to boil. So while my mackerel is being boiled, I'm gonna start with my seasoning to make my rundown. So I'm gonna start with my seasoning. So I heat my pan with a little bit of oil. And the reason why I'm using a little bit of oil is because I'm using the canned coconut milk. Usually when we're doing it in Jamaica the traditional way, we usually use the homemade coconut. So we would get the coconut, we would grate it and get the coconut milk from it, and that would have a little bit more oil. So because we're using a can, I'm going to use a little bit of oil just to get my seasoning going. So I heat my oil and I'm going to start out with my garlic just to give it that nice fragrance. And then add to that will be my onion. Just allow that to soften up a little bit. And then I'm going to add the rest of the bell pepper and the scallion. We're going to allow that to saute. Remember, the bell pepper is optional, and you could have used tomato if you wish. Remember, our recipe is always to your liking, what you like. Alright, so just allow this to soften up for a little bit. Let's cover it. Oh, that looks good. Let's cover it, allow it to soften up. See, we don't really have oil in the pot. So remember to use just a little bit of oil. So now I'm going to add my coconut milk. My coconut milk. I'm going to also add my thyme. I'm going to add some black pepper. And I'm going to add some seasoning. I have a little fish seasoning. Just a little. And then I'm also going to be adding some all-purpose seasoning. Remember, you season it to your taste. I'm going to also add the pimento beans. And this is where you taste and see if you have your right taste. And you know, you can add salt if you want, but I really don't think we would need any salt, because the mackerel, it doesn't matter how many times you boil it, it's still gonna have that salt. So let's allow this to cook down for about 15 minutes, and then we'll add the mackerel. So let that cook down for about 15 minutes. Okay, so now we're ready to add the fish, the mackerel, and after I boiled it and pick it up, taking out the most of the bones, you know, even though we try, we're gonna still have a few bones, and sort of get off most of the skin. This is what I have leave. So at this point I'm gonna add my mackerel. Let me drain off the excess water before I add it. So I'm adding my mackerel. Spread it out. That looks good. And I'm also going to be adding the Scotch bonnet pepper, a half of a Scotch bonnet pepper. I deseeded it. I don't like it too spicy, my food too spicy. And now I'm going to allow that to cook until it is reduced to a nice custard that we call rundown. We might not get that nice custard because we are not using the homemade coconut, but we'll get something that is close to what we are looking for. So allow that to cook for about 10 minutes. Wow! Salt mackerel rundown is ready. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let's turn off that stove. And remember to check out my shop, Darian May. Check out my shop. The link is on my channel homepage and my other channel, Darian May Matt Max. So let's see what your big Sunday morning, Easter Sunday morning breakfast will look like. And here's your mackerel rundown with boiled dumpling, boiled banana, and boiled sweet potato. The perfect Easter morning breakfast, and also lunch, dinner, breakfast, for any time. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.